let's talk about the Trump administration and how these officials are completely out of touch with reality. Brooke Rollins, Secretary of Agriculture, obviously came out recently and said that Americans can feed themselves for $3 a meal with a piece of chicken, piece of broccoli, a corn tortilla, and another thing. We don't know what the other thing is, but those are the things you can have for a meal in the United States for $3. Sounds like the worst combo meal imaginable. But that is what Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins said. And she came to that conclusion after running over 1,000 simulations. Like, they had to use AI and supercomputers for her to come up with the most bland white person meal ever. A piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, a corn tortilla, and another thing. But Brooke Rollins came out this week defending her "let them eat a piece of chicken" statement and said this: I don't want any funny business with numbers. Like, I really want to know what that looks like, because we had run almost 1,000 simulations, and between $3 and $4 is a fair number if you can have access to that food. Okay, so you're already admitting that it's not a fair number because not everybody has access to that food. So a real number would be a number for food that everybody has access to. Because you can't just say, like, listen, you could eat for $1 a day if all you're eating is unicorn meat, but not everybody has access to unicorn meat, folks. So, the rest of y'all, you're going to pay a little more because you're not eating our unicorns. That's how realistic this is. But she continued to make it worse. So just about an hour ago, I saw new numbers that were run a full day, meaning 3 full square meals and a snack, is about $15.64. That's all, 3 meals and a snack. So we'll be talking more about that in the coming days and weeks. I grew up with a single mom in a really small town and certainly never meant to be flippant, but I also think that the left, or those that were attacking me, perhaps know that this is an issue that 90% of Americans agree on. You can't argue with the American public when they tell you we can't afford food. But that is what she's doing. She's like, no, yes, you can. I ran 1,000 simulations. We have a supercomputer. Oh, look at this. $3 a meal. If you're spending more than that, then you're a dumb moron. Is that really the message you want to go with, Brooke? Because I don't think it is. But that is the one you are going with. But don't worry, because she's not even as out of touch as Scott Bessent. I don't know if it's Bessent or Bessent, and honestly, I don't give a shit. But Scott Bessent, a billionaire, went on Maria Bartiromo's show on Fox News and said that, because she asked him, like, hey, we got a housing crisis here in the United States. Homes are unaffordable. We've got, these groups that are snatching up all the available homes. What do we do about it? Scott Bessent said, we are going to give guidance at some point to see what a mom and pop is. Someone, maybe your parents for their retirement, have bought 5, 10, 12 homes. So we don't want to push the mom and pops out. We just want to push everybody else out. Your parents, or perhaps you, if you're retired, the housing crisis in the United States is caused by you guys because you went and bought 5 or 10 or 12 houses. Who amongst us does not have a parent that owns at least half a dozen houses? Am I right, folks? I mean, these boomers and even, some of the older ones just buying up houses every other day. That is not now. Nor has it ever been a thing that has happened. It's not mom and pop are buying a house every other year that's causing the housing crisis. It's BlackRock. It's all of these other, major institutions, the hedge funds that are buying up, in some instances, entire neighborhoods. That's the problem. It's not mom and pop. Mom and pop don't have that kind of money. But I can understand how, if you're a billionaire, you probably think they do. And you probably think a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, a corn tortilla, and another thing is what Americans want to eat every day for every meal. But this is what this administration is telling us. They're telling us, you're not broke. You guys are actually causing the problems that you're whining about. Maybe you ought to knock that off. Maybe you ought to eat better. Stop eating like a pig. Stop eating those artificial colors in your foods, because that's your real problem. No, it's not. Okay. The problem is we have a president who is likely suffering from advanced dementia, who is also suffering from multiple different psychological symptoms, and he goes insane on social media, threatens tariffs, puts tariffs in place in many instances beyond just threatening them. Prices go up for us and we can't afford things. That's the problem. But y'all won't address that because the guy doing it is your boss. So you would rather look into a camera and tell us that we're the problem than have to confront the psycho crazy guy that you work for. When thinking of the devil, my mental image used to be of a red face with horns, but now it's an orange face accompanied by a rather poor comb-over. Yeah, sometimes, folks, you just got to admit when you're going bald and you just got to deal with it. Started at 19, by the way. And it was rough at first. Not easy being a college kid losing your hair. But hey, it happens. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. It was a full diaper. There have been so many videos that I've seen recently that purportedly show Donald Trump having an accident, including, by the way, there is now speculation that during his weekend meeting with the fossil fuel executives where he randomly got up and went to the window, a lot of people think he did that to go poop his pants. Now, I'm not making that up either. I'm not saying he did, but I'm saying a lot of people thought that maybe he was doing that to go make a number 1 or a number 2. Thanks for watching, and if you are not already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and do not forget to like and comment and share widely among your friends.